Easy Explain, the Stoicism of Marcus Aurelius, part 5 of 5, Meditations, books 10 through 12. So starting with book 10 here, I'd actually like to point out something that really stood out to me was that Marcus Aurelius takes the time to quote and explain a passage from the Iliad by Homer. This was a classic for Aurelius, it's a classic for us, and he actually highlights how there's a Stoic passage in here. And here it is. Like the generations of leaves, the lives of mortal men. Now the wind scatters the old leaves across the earth. Now the living timber bursts with the new buds, and spring comes round again. And so with men. As one generation comes to life, another dies away. So this passage actually really kind of expresses this fleeting, ephemeral nature of everything in nature, right? How everything comes and goes. We see that take place in plant life. And Homer here is pointing out that also is just like the lives of men. And Aurelius likes this. And how does Aurelius sum this up? Right after this, he says this nice little quip here. All things are short-lived. Sums it up well for us. So moving on to book 11. And again, these books are rather long. There's a lot going on in these books. And here we're just focusing on some higher level key highlights we're just taking away from here. So in book 11, I wanted to point out that Aurelius actually quotes Epictetus. And I think this is important to look at because we actually see towards the end some direct influence that Aurelius was pulling from Epictetus to influence his own Stoicism. So he quotes him 3 times here at the end of book 11. So here's the first one. He quotes Epictetus as saying, "No thief can steal your will." This definitely aligns with Aurelius' Stoicism, that you are in complete control of your reason, your judgment, and your will. The second quote from Epictetus, Aurelius quotes at the end of book 11, is that we must discover an art of ascent, and in the whole field of our impulses, take care to ensure that each impulse is conditional, has a social purpose, and is proportionate to the value of its goal. We must keep absolutely clear of personal motivation, and at the same time show no disinclination to anything outside our immediate control. Again, this idea that we should be acting in accord with the judgments and impulses and will of ours that is free and under our control, and it should be in the benefit and goodwill of both ourselves and others. We should not let our impulses get the best of us and force us into acting outside of the best intentions. And the third and final quote here at the end of book 11. "So this is not a contest for a trivial prize. At issue is madness or insanity." And this is the gravity of what's on the line here for Stoicism, the stakes. Both Epictetus and Aurelius think that living the Stoic life is the way to live. And what is at risk here if you don't live that way? You're actually risking madness or insanity. So live the Stoic way. Then finally we have book 12, and here we get a very full circle kind of moment. We see that the slogan Aurelius introduced in the very beginning, "All is as thinking makes it so," his Stoic motto, comes back verbatim a couple times, and he actually expands upon it. So here's the first time we see it. "All is as thinking makes it so, and you control your thinking. So remove your judgments whenever you wish, and then there is calm, as the sailor rounding the cape finds smooth water and the welcome of a waveless bay." Again, keeping this sailing metaphor going a bit, jettison the judgment, and you are saved. And finally, the last passage here we'll look at from book 12, the end of the Meditations by Aurelius. "When you fret at any circumstance, you have forgotten that every man's mind is God and has flowed from that source, that nothing is our own property, but even our child, our body, our very soul have come from that source, that all is as thinking makes it so, that each of us lives only the present moment, and the present moment is all we lose." I hope this helps.